We're going to be talking about East Origin. Alright. After wasting 30 minutes of my morning scrolling through Instagram, I figured if I didn't have the means to get up and play games today, I could lie in bed and at least work on the script for this damn video.
I made up my mind to stay with you. Whether this is real or a bad dream, I'll keep watching until it's real. Ready?
I want to start off by being completely transparent. This is technically my first East game, and I have to say, I'm glad I somehow managed to play this one before any of the other games. On second thought, now that I think about it, East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana, was my first East game. Let's backtrack a bit to 2020. I'm sure you know where I want to go with this, but because of the nature and sensitivity of the whole thing, I'm just gonna leave any mention of it out. A lot of people were homebound, including myself, and to make things worse, I had just moved out to California to pursue a career in music. I wasn't working in music, I was working at Home Depot, and trust me, that sucked. As any other job, retail job, I guess. I don't know, retail job's that bad? Anyways. And so after a few months, I decided it was time to pack up and go back home to my parents in Texas. Now I'm back home at my mom's, and of course she feels a lot better for having me back, and that's okay because I love my mom. But I start thinking about what the hell it is that I'm going to do. And now when I say what it is that I'm going to do, I don't necessarily mean like, well, I'm back home at mom's, like, I start thinking, what my career, what am I going to do? Am I going to work at Home Depot forever? McDonald's, a restaurant. Obviously, I mean, that's, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I had been doing that, working those kinds of jobs all of my early 20s. And at the time, I think I was like 26, so it was more about, am I going to go back to school? Am I going to return to my trade? Because I did go to trade school. Or was I going to continue pursuing or trying to pursue a career in music? So I'm feeling the pressure from every angle. Things need to start happening before I turn 30. At the time, I was 25 years old. And so shit is coming pretty fast. And as I write this now, I'm 28. And we'll get to this a little bit later on in the video. I need to do something. Music, go back to school, get back into my trade. Something needs to happen. Well, I do what I do best. I slip into a terrible depression. This episode didn't last that long, somewhere about 2 months. And the initial shock of, like being depressed, I don't know if anybody's like really been depressed or, just different from everybody. I was in bed for about 2 weeks. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. I had an appetite, but I was eating like once a day. And shortly after those, 2 weeks, I kind of started to get over it. I don't remember exactly what it was that pushed me to start working on improving myself. I think it was just a lot of the stress and kind of just realizing like that things were okay. And I think a lot of people, when they're in that self-help phase of their life, they like tend to listen to a lot of motivational speeches and self-help podcasts because they can relate to others and their stories. And that's all fine and good. I totally understand that. My mom is on that team. And I would be waking up like around 1 p.m., maybe 2 p.m. And my mom had already been up, 6 in the morning. And she would let everybody in the house know how motivated she was because she'd be playing these ridiculously loud motivational speeches. And I know you guys probably don't know this. My sister and my mother, they run a seamstress business. I don't even know if that's what it's like, a fashion thing. I don't know. So it kind of gave me sweatshop vibes. I needed a little something more, something to escape the terrors of my mind. That's, now that I think about it, that's extra. I think my girlfriend would say dramatic, right? But it feels that way, you know, like you can't think past a lot of things, you can't look past a lot of things, so it's pretty scary. I actually started watching a lot of gaming channels on YouTube. To be more accurate, I was watching JRPG review channels such as David Vink RPG, Eric Landon Gaming, and the Happy Console Gamer. I would wake up around 6 a.m. This is when I was getting my shit together. I'd be getting up at 6 a.m. and put in a good hour workout as a part of building some sort of routine. And though I wasn't working at the time, I think everything that was going on and me not working on top of it, it was playing a huge role in how I was feeling about myself. So, starting my morning early and working out was some of the was the best thing that I could have done, honestly. And so when I say workout, I don't mean like go to the gym and like bench press like, 200 pounds or whatever. I was getting up and, going for a run, getting my cardio in, kind of get everything, waking myself up, and then very light core workout. So like push-ups, crunch wrap supremes, handlebars, whatever you want to call them. While I was working out, sometimes I didn't want to listen to music. I come from a music background, and yes, I love music, and I want to work in music, and that's all good and stuff. But I just enjoyed the company of listening to these JRPGs YouTubers talk about these games, and I have a little bit of a background when it comes to JRPGs, like Final Fantasy VII and the Mana series and Dragon Quest 11. I played Dragon Quest 11, but I ended up dropping it. So I didn't really know. It was new to me. It was something new, and at the time, I just wanted to occupy my mind. Like I really liked these guys. I enjoyed their take on these games, but I hardly knew anything that they were talking about. So I think for a long time I believed Final Fantasy VII was peak RPG. I'm not saying that it's not, but I never really gave other games a chance, especially in that genre. Everything else seemed too anime for me. And this is probably gonna annoy a lot of people or upset a lot of people, but I don't really like anime. It's a little too dramatic for me. It's a little too cliche. It's a little too kind of been there, done that. In my opinion, I'm gonna break even with you guys and say I don't watch enough anime to really make these claims. But the anime that I have watched, it's just a little over the top for me, and I don't enjoy it. I can't sit there and watch it. I like comedy anime. Like I have seen a few. I can't even tell you guys the name. It's like these three dudes. They're going to school and they're like goofing off and they're getting into shenanigans and stuff. I really enjoyed that one, but that was a little bit before 2020, and then definitely long before the recording of this video. So, anyways, let me see. What was I saying? Other kind of worms. Right. So I don't really like anime games. I couldn't really give anything else a try because I was really focused on the aesthetics, and I didn't want to play an anime game. If I didn't like anime, if I didn't really like watching anime, why was I gonna play an anime game? And to me, before playing Ys, everything was an anime game. I don't know if Ys fits into that category. Debatable. I think, in my opinion, I think it does. I started working as a waiter or server. I don't know. It's the same thing, I guess. Waiter, server. I don't know. But this was the first time I had ever done this job, and after the initial fear of messing up someone's order was gone, I came to really enjoy that work. Like I enjoyed the routine of it, the responsibilities of it, and Let me tell you something about waiting tables. In my experience, is the easiest money I had ever earned. The easiest. Yeah, sometimes people don't tip, or yeah, sometimes people are like super stingy with their tips. That's a whole other thing. I like the tip system, but that just comes with the territory. So if you can't really handle that, then maybe don't be a server and or waiter. But side quest, how does this have anything to do with East Origin? After having a bit of scratch in my pocket to play with, I started going back and checking out those games a lot of those YouTubers were talking about. And the thing about waiting tables is that you make tips, so at the end of the shift you take home whatever was earned. This was such a huge boost for me. The first game I picked up was Valkyria Chronicles for the Nintendo Switch. And right now really isn't the time to get into that because this video isn't about that game, but let's just say I went down a path of finally, after years of playing the same games, I ventured into new territories. But side quest, what does this have to do with East Origin? Lacrimosa of Yassi, or Lacrimosa of Yassi.
Okay. You don't choke, you don't choke. What's the roll? What's the roll? I cannot talk, I cannot talk, I cannot talk, I cannot talk.
Doing YouTube is something that I've always wanted to do, and I do run a few channels that mostly focus on my artistic works. I'm a professional doodler and time waster. I enjoy writing music as well. I was playing a lot of video games on my downtime, and I spent a lot of my other time working on comics and music. If I remember correctly, around this time I was more focused on music than comics, but something always stuck out to me when it came to the East games. I love the title East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana, or Donna. And trust me, if you know anything about the East series, you know there's a reason why that game is mentioned so much. Even if you don't know anything about East, I'm sure you hear 8 being the most mentioned game around. But that being said, Lacrimosa of Dana, what a title. Should I be a little bit more enthusiastic about that? What a title. What a title. What a title. What a title. I don't know how to like just be casual about that. Like, wow, what a title. Because that's really not what I want to say. I really want to say like, dude, that shit's badass, bro. But side quest, what does this have to do with East Origin? Coming out of my funk, I decided I was going to take some time to work on more jungle-style drum and bass music. One of my first releases started in 2021, literally at the start of the year, was a song called Cottonmouth. I progressively worked towards my last and final single releases of 2022. So for about, I want to say maybe a year and a half, the full 2021, and then a little bit like June or May of 2022, I released music pretty consistently. And those two singles, my last two singles that I released were Lacrimosa and Idiot Goose. As a native Spanish speaker, I understood what the word Lacrimosa meant. In Spanish, we have a similar word, lágrima, or lagrimoso, or lacrimosa, to be tearful. And that really resonated with me, hearing of Ys 8. And I didn't know anything about the game. I was just interested, but not enough to play it, cause anime game, right? I simply enjoyed the title. And so the double release with Lacrimosa, or Lacrimosa of Yasi as the A-side and Idiot Goose as the B-side. But side quest. What does this have to do with Ys Origin? If you own a PlayStation console, I'm sure you're aware of the PlayStation Plus and its tiers and levels of subscriptions, and so before my subscription had ended, I noticed that Ys 8 was a free monthly game, or it's one of those like top tier, the platinum games. So, I'm sitting there telling my girlfriend the story I just mentioned to you all about how I had always seen this game being mentioned and praised, and babe, did you know I even wrote a song after it? I guess you can't even, I didn't write the song after, I just named it. So let me redo that. And babe, did you know I even named the song after it? And you've never played it? She replied, no. That's not, I didn't say it. I was like, nah. That's all I was saying, nah. Should I get it? Well, how much is it? It's free with my It's free with my Sony PlayStation Plus monthly subscription. So we sat there waiting for the game to download, and I was showing her all these great tunes I had turned out and telling her how it came to be that this game always occupied my mind based off of the title alone. Lacrimosa of Dana, or Dana. Lacrimosa of Yasi, Lacrimosa.